Hello everyone and welcome to the Workplace Wellness Buffet. My name is Shakila and I am a dedicated support specialist committed to providing my clients with world-class services to help them grow and sustain their business and save time. I am married with 3 kids. I'm a business owner, entrepreneur, and I am currently writing a book which will be published by the end of the summer. So I know a little bit about managing my time and spending time usefully to balance all the hats that I wear. Today I'm here to talk about my top tips on time management and how by just working a little bit smarter we can save time to invest in our health and well-being. You must have heard or used this famous quote somewhere, "Time is money," but do you know who actually said it? It was Benjamin Franklin. As well as being one of the founding fathers of the United States, he was also a printer, postmaster, writer, a scientist, and an inventor. He clearly knew the value of putting time to good use. There are so many things we can do with time. We can kill time or lose time. We can be robbed of our precious time, or we can find time. I help you save time. With my top tips in this presentation, you'll be able to use your time efficiently, effectively, and properly. So today I would like to start off by asking everyone if they find they have enough hours in the day to complete everything on their to-do list. The response I usually get is, "Are you kidding me? Of course I don't have enough time." As if maintaining work-life balance wasn't difficult enough, along came a pandemic that meant many of us were banished to our houses 24/7. Sure, that comes with perks like an extra half hour in bed instead of a commute, but it can also make it harder to switch off. Work-life balance and 5 tips after work. If you found your balance has been particularly off kilter these last few months, here are a few ways to help you restore that. Tip number 1, stop checking your emails outside of work hours. We know it may sound unthinkable, but it could be time to stop checking your emails once you're off the clock. Constantly refreshing your inbox makes it harder to maintain the boundaries between your work and home life, particularly if you're currently working from home where the boundaries are blurred as it is. If the thought of avoiding your emails after hours is too much to handle, why not outsource your inbox? That way you can rest easy knowing that nothing is going to slip under the radar. Number 2, step away from your desk. Working in an office can be a sedentary job at the best of times, but if you're working from home, you probably find that some days the furthest you'll walk is to the fridge and back. Exercise is great for reducing stress and boosting your mood, but it can be tricky to find the time or motivation to get moving. Start trying to incorporate some more movement into your routine, whether it's squeezing in a quick walk around the block between meetings or a quick yoga session in your lunch hour. Your body and mind will thank you. Tip number 3, get better at managing your time. Always feeling like there are never enough hours in the day? Maybe you're overscheduling yourself. It's not easy to say no, but overcommitment will usually lead to stress and burnout. And no one is productive when they're burnt out. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Thankfully, there are loads of ways you can improve your time management skills. Creating a to-do list at the start of each day is an absolute must to make sure you're getting through your most pressing tasks, and it allows you to prioritize. A diary management service can also ensure that you're not overbooking your time and allows you to stay on top of your commitments. And whilst we're on the subject, keep to a routine. If your bedroom is now your boardroom, it can be harder to stick to a defined working day, as you might find yourself dipping in and out of work 24/7. You don't necessarily need to stick to a rigid 9 to 5 working day, but it's important to give yourself structure. Pretend your commute isn't just the 5 seconds it takes to get from your bed to your desk, and get up a little earlier to give yourself time to ease into the day, or adjust your schedule to start working once your kids start their schoolwork, Once you find what works, stick to it. Tip number 5, give yourself a break. You're not a machine. You can't work non-stop without it taking a toll. So give yourself a break. Keep your weekends as time to rest and recuperate. Spend time with your family or keep up with whatever weird and wonderful hobbies you picked up during lockdown. It's easy to neglect your own well-being when you spend so much time focusing on work. But for your own sake, make sure to have time for yourself, even if that means using your annual leave to just lie in front of the TV for a few days. As working from home becomes the new norm, especially in these difficult and uncertain times, it may feel like a far normal setup for many who have never experienced this. For those who have never worked from home though, this can be a daunting time, and it's often difficult to keep spirits up when staring at the same four walls. So if you're self-isolating or simply taking precautionary measures, I've put together 5 tips to keep you motivated and positive during these times. Tip number 1 is to dress up. By dress up, I don't mean turn up to your morning webinar in a superhero costume, but instead make sure that despite being at home, you get yourself ready for the day as if you were heading into the office. It's an unwritten expectation that you might dress a little bit more casual when working from home. Your mind might go to a shirt on the top and pajama on the bottom vibe. However, this is a trap that you don't want to fall into. The benefit of working from home is that you can be more comfortable and aren't expected to be suited and booted. However, dressing down too casually could be detrimental to your own motivation and performance. If you stay in your pajamas or reach for the fluffy socks, you may feel too relaxed to focus and are likely to slip into a state of laziness. I recommend getting ready as normal, and you have even more time to do as you remove your commute from the equation. It's also very important to be the best version of yourself, as you never know when you might be called to a video meeting, so you want to make sure you are ready for the camera. Number 2, set boundaries. If you are employed by a company, you will have set working hours and usually a dedicated time and length of lunch break. It's important to stick to these so that you don't further alter your routine. Be set up and ready to start your working day at the same time that you would arrive to the office, and just as importantly, finish your work at the same time as you would normally leave. It can be easy to worry about perception when working from home, and you might want to go above and beyond to prove that you are being productive. This does not mean that you have to be working well into the night. Longer hours than usual will make your day feel less structured and have a negative impact on your productivity for the days to follow. Switch off your computer when you are finished, and space allowing, clear away your work or set it aside until the next day. Set clear start and finish times and allocate time for breaks and lunch so that you have something to look towards. Most importantly, stick to these times. Number 3, structure priorities. As important as it is to have set timelines in place, it's very important to know what you are doing in that time. If you have a team, make sure to be communicating with them as often as you would if they were sitting across the desk from you. This doesn't mean send them minute by minute updates or tell them when you're making a cup of tea, but have a morning and evening catch up and message regularly with any questions, advice or updates. If you're a manager, it can be beneficial for you to arrange a call with your team members first thing. This is not to check up on them or cash them out, but to set clear expectations of the day ahead. Pick up the phone. It's so easy to get into the habit of sending an email, but often a phone call is a much quicker option. When you spend the day working on your own, having a conversation can be much more stimulating than corresponding over email. Communication is key in this situation, especially so if you are self-isolating. Even 10 minutes of human interaction can be so beneficial to your morale and remind you that you're not alone. We are all in this together. Number 4, don't get overwhelmed. Once you have set a routine and structure in place, you can focus more on completing your tasks. It's important though not to get overwhelmed. You have probably got multiple lists of things to do, and in these uncertain times, you're likely to find yourself adding tasks rather than taking them off. Treat your remote working as you would any other day at the office. Stick to your priorities, and if something doesn't get done that day, it can wait. Put it on the list for tomorrow. If it's a case that there just aren't enough hours in the day, then business support services like Smart PA are there to help you manage your workload and take tasks off your hands. Take short breaks and reassess priorities throughout the day. Research has shown that short breaks are much more beneficial than less frequent longer breaks. Number 5, keep active. When you're re-energizing or taking a lunch break, try to do something that will give you more energy, not take it away. This means staying away from the dishes in the sink or the laundry that needs to be done. If you're not self-isolating and you're safe to leave the house, going for a walk is a perfect way to temporarily switch off, give you a different perspective and invigorate you to have a successful afternoon. Although you may not miss your morning commute, going for a walk over lunch means that you leave the house at least once a day, which is important to do. If you can't go outside, do something active at home. Go to another room and do a 10-minute yoga routine. Turn the radio up and have a dance whilst making lunch. Or use meditation apps like Headspace or Calm to help undo mental blocks and inspire your creativity. Be kind to yourself. The anxiety and uncertainty that has come with the current pandemic cannot be denied. This makes it ever more important to be mindful, be kind to yourself and others, and remember that you are not alone. If you do find that you are overwhelmed with trying to run your business or tick off your to-do list, it's business as usual at Smart PA, and we are here to help you. We all have 24 hours a day, and time is a piece of our lives essentially. Time management is life management. With so many different tasks to do every day, it is easy to get distracted and become super busy. But are we achieving the results we want? As our lives become busier, it is getting almost impossible to find time. Any professional will know time is a valuable commodity and it must be managed wisely. Often, entrepreneurs are required to work on numerous tasks or projects at once, and this can result in demanding schedules and time-sensitive conflicts. Due to this, it is essential that diaries are managed properly. Entrepreneurs who are struggling to find enough hours in the day may notice that a few key changes to their diary management releases a significant amount of time. And here are my 5 top tips. Tip number 1 is to plan your diary in advance. Last-minute meetings or urgent calls will always crop up, but planning your diary in advance will ensure that everything else is scheduled. Although you'll need to add events to your calendar on a daily basis, taking a few minutes to plan your diary at the start of each week can help you to visualize what the next 7 days will entail. Following this, you can schedule additional meetings, conferences, or calls at times that are appropriate for you. Tip number 2 is to take advantage of color codes. Most professionals rely on electronic or online diary management, and this offers many advantages. Easy to update and accessible from anywhere, online calendars ensure that you can always check what's coming up. It's important to get the most out of diary management software, and there's bound to be numerous features you're not using. Color coding your engagements can be an extremely useful way to organize your diary. Highlighting different types of engagement in varying colors means that you can see what events are approaching just by glancing at your diary. Meeting with potential investors, conferences with in-house colleagues, and even important family events can be categorized so that you're able to recognize them instantly rather than having to read through your daily list of appointments. Tip number 3 is to factor in breaks. Unfortunately, entrepreneurs often find it hard to switch off and don't usually take as many breaks as they should. Over time, this can have a negative effect on their professional lives as well as their health and well-being. When managing your diary, it's vital to include regular breaks and time away from the office. In addition to factoring a daily lunch break into your diary, for example, you may need to include specific days off. While taking regular breaks might sound counterproductive when it comes to boosting productivity, it's one of the best ways to do so. Number 4, collate as many details as possible. When adding something to your diary, don't be tempted to simply note down vague details. Whilst you might have additional information stored in your head, it can be difficult to recall it at a later date. For example, rather than simply diarising a meeting with a specific person, you'll need to make a note of where the meeting is to be held, the topic including any preparation that might be required, any other attendees, the nature of the meeting and the contact details of the host. Whilst you may have the information elsewhere, adding these details to your diary means that you can access it quickly and easily should you need to. Number 5, use your time wisely. When you're arranging events or diarising meetings, it's vital to be aware of other engagements. For example, if you're arranging 2 out-of-office meetings, you may want to schedule them on the same day at nearby locations. This can cut down on your travel time and ensure that you aren't left idle between events. Similarly, determine whether face-to-face meetings can be changed to phone calls or even video conferencing. Often this cuts down on the time a discussion takes but still enables you to achieve the same results. Thank you for attending. I hope that you found my presentation useful. I provided you with my top 10 tips for the time poor. As a thank you for attending the presentation, I hope it will help you get your work-life balance working like clockwork. If you would like to find out more about me and what I do or anything about this presentation, please feel free to contact me. And please download my free PDF, my 10 quick tips for the time poor. Thank you.